just want to make sure that we are recording the presentation. So we'll be able to upload it later on the website and you guys can reference back to it. Awesome. Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us. We'll get started with the webinar. My name is Saqib Mohammed. I am one of the co-founders at Resemble. And first I'll quickly go through on what we'll cover throughout this presentation. So we'll talk about the purpose of this webinar, the different options that Resemble offers for you to clone voices, and then a quick walkthrough of the self-serve recording platform that we have, which most of you have probably utilized, and then do's and don'ts when you're recording data offline to upload it or send it to us for voice cloning. And then we'll dive into Q&As. And if you have questions as I am presenting, feel free to just type them in the chat box, and we'll get to them after the presentation. So we're not, at the end of the presentation, we're not just trying to figure out, hey, who has a question? Anybody? So we'll get started. So purpose of this webinar. We just wanted to, host all the users that have signed up on the platform, have created voices, to walk them through on what are the best practices that you could utilize when they're cloning voices. We get a lot of users sometimes when they do end up spending time on our platform by recording the sentences, or they send us data and they get a score of the voice. They're like, hey, it sounds like me, but how could it get better? So we figured that we'll host a webinar that would, we'll just go over the best practices, and that way, hopefully that would help you guys as you're cloning your voices to get better AI voices from the model. So quick overview on the options to clone voices. So Resemble offers a few options for you to go ahead and get started with your voices. The first one is the self-serve voice cloning platform. It's really simple. You sign up, and we'll give a quick walkthrough of that in a bit. You sign up, you create an account, you record about minimum 50 sentences is what we need. And then you're able to start generating content with your voice. Again, I'll go through the best practices when we're walking through that platform. The next one is the uploading pre-recorded audio files on the platform. This could be a couple of things. One, if you already have data from a voice actor or your own, if you're a podcaster and you're like, hey, I want to create my AI voice, already have all this podcast that I've done, can I utilize that? Yes, you can. Or if you're working with a voice actor to generate, to record content for a specific use case, whether it's call center or you're making a game or what have you, and you have a script that you would like to record so you can generate similar content down the road, this is where this would come in handy. And the third one is cloning via the API. This comes in handy when you're trying to clone voices at a scale and you don't want to keep coming back to the website to upload data. The second and the third option are available only on the build plan and professional plan and the enterprise plan. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And one of my colleagues will post the links for the API docs in the chat box so you guys can go through it and get an idea on how that process works. So self-serve platform. I think the best thing that I can, my go-to answer for everybody is, hey, use a professional mic if you have one available. So I use this, Blue Yeti mic. It's great. It's convenient in the sense that it's not on the higher end when it comes to professional mics. And the whole approach here is that we just want to be able to eliminate all the background noise that you get. And one of the biggest culprits, to be honest, is the laptop fan. You're surprised how many times that ends up getting picked up, especially when somebody doesn't have a mic and they sit closer to the laptop, because I think, hey, the closer they are, the better the microphone is going to pick up the way they're speaking. Not the case because that laptop fan noise gets picked up and then causes the AI voice to be distorted. And another would be to record in an area where there's little to no reverb or echo per se. And again, I don't expect everybody to have a studio, because people don't have studios available at in their houses or in their apartments. So there are a couple of ways you can do is try to find a quieter environment, or maybe a room that's like smaller in scale per se. Like, don't record it in your living room, because obviously that's when you're going to run into the issue where the echo would be amplified and get picked up by the recording tool. So recommend doing it in an area where you can we can try to eliminate as much noise as possible and also the echo in the background. Another tidbit that you can try, which I did try, I didn't know how I was going to showcase it because it would have been pretty difficult, is put something around your laptop. So like if you put like a box, around your laptop, so it tries to, and then if you're speaking into the microphone, that would allow you to kind of like, help with the eliminating the background noise or the echo. Again, a couple of things you can try out, if you have a professional mic, go ahead. If not, then try to record content in an environment where there's no background noise. We recommend using Chrome. We have seen people run into issues with Safari or Firefox. If you are utilizing those browsers and you run into any issues, feel free to shoot us an email and we'll be happy to take a look at those for you. If you're in Chrome and you are running into issues where the microphone isn't being picked up, just go to the settings in your Chrome, and you're able to go to site settings and look for microphone, and that's where you'll be able to pick the device that you want to be able to utilize when you're recording on the platform. I'll just go ahead and navigate to the platform to give you guys a quick overview on how to get started over there and to make sure that you're recording the high quality samples. So let me just go ahead and navigate to that. Just trying to find the website. There we go. Perfect. So when you get started and you come to the platform, you'll go to the main page, which is the projects page. The ability to build custom voices is clicking here, build a voice, or you can go on the left side where it says voices. So we'll just go ahead and click here. I'll go ahead and first walk you guys through the new voice, which is recording on the self-serve platform. Give this voice a name. Perfect. So now I'll be creating my voice. Here's that nice confetti because obviously I'm about to do something very exciting. So a couple of things over here. This is the first sentence you'll record, and it's put in place to make sure that once you're done recording, you'll listen to the sentence to make sure that there's nothing getting picked up in sense of background noise or any other artifact that you might be like, oh, I didn't even notice that was there. So I'll go ahead and just record this sentence, and it'll give you an idea on what the quality is that I'm looking for. This is a microphone check. The data recorded on the platform will be used to generate my voice by Resemble. Perfect. Again, as you can see, there's two kind of warnings that pop up where we are making sure that, hey, you listen to the sample and make sure that it is something that you can hear. For example, another issue we've seen is when people utilize AirPods. For some reason, AirPods have a tendency of compressing audio further. They might get these notifications here that, hey, the volume is great, the clarity is great, but when they end up recording it, it ends up recording it as chipmunk. And when you go ahead and generate content with it, again, you sound like a chipmunk, which is not what we're going for because we're trying to clone your voice. So I'll go ahead and just listen to this sample here. This is a microphone check. The data recorded on the platform will be used to generate my voice by Resemble. Perfect. I love the quality. Clearly, I could use some help on the voice acting skills, but that's not the point here. So I'll go ahead and submit this sample. And once that's done, now the real fun starts. Now you'll start to see the sentences that you're supposed to record to generate the voice. Some of the sentences are pretty awkward, and that's why we tell people like, hey, read them as like they're written. Don't try to change the sentence or change the vocabulary as you're reading them. And after maybe 5 to 10 samples, I recommend users to go ahead and listen to maybe the most recent one you recorded, just to make sure that everything is still getting recorded accurately, and you don't have to go back and re-record the samples because that's the biggest hassle. So I'll go ahead and just listen to this, record this sample. The store gladly accepted the invitation and arrived in good time and with a very good appetite. Perfect. The volume is great, clarity is great. I'll just go ahead and listen to this to make sure that it was picked up and recorded accurately. The store gladly accepted the invitation and arrived in good time and with a very good appetite. Perfect. As you can tell, there's that background noise, and I was not able to press finish in time. So I'm just going to go ahead and record it again to make sure that it is done accurately. The store gladly accepted the invitation and arrived in good time and with a very good appetite. Perfect. Just go ahead and listen to it. The stork gladly accepted the invitation and arrived in good time and with a very good appetite. Awesome. I'll go ahead and submit this. And then the next one will pop up, and I'll just do one more for reference. Float the soap on top of the bathwater. Float the soap on top of the bathwater. Perfect. I love it. I'll go ahead and submit. So when you're recording these sentences, the best bet would be to read them naturally, and don't try to, I guess, amplify or over-express yourselves. Not that we don't want you to apply any emotions per se, but just read them as naturally as you would, instead of reading them in a monotone way, because then when the model is trained, your voice will be very neutral and monotone, and when it comes time to applying emotions, it'll be harder to do that because the model never really learned how you say certain things with emotions. So that's a quick overview on the Seltzer platform. Once you're done recording 50 samples, you'll get a notification that, hey, your model is being trained right now, and you'll be notified via email once it's deployed and ready to use. Now, if you do want to record more sentences to improve the model, that is offered on our paid plans. And you can go ahead and record more samples, more than 50, and then the model gets trained for longer, and it improves the voice from there. So let's go ahead and jump back into the presentation so we can continue from there. Okay, go ahead. Let's go ahead and perfect. There we go. Perfect. So so as I mentioned, you'll be notified via email once the voice is cloned and ready to use. And this is the email you will receive. As you can see here, we do give you a score of your voice. So the score can be as high as 95, 96, or 97%. While you're recording on the platform, the 50 sentences. It just comes down to how you record them. Again, making sure there's no background noise. If you have a professional mic handy, you're able to use it, and just recording in a quiet environment. Next thing that I would like to touch base on is the ability to upload data. That's a nifty feature that Resemble offers. All you have to do is get an audio file of single speaker and upload it directly. Only things to be aware of here is audio needs to be clean, to make sure that there's, again, no background noise. For example, sometimes clients reach out to us, they're like, hey, we have 20, 30 hours of data. Obviously, we're excited because we're like, okay, that makes our life easier. But when they send it to us, we can now probably only use 10 minutes of it, because rest of it was either recorded at different environments. So one is maybe a speech the person was giving, and the other one is when they were doing a presentation, and the other was an interview. So all those combined really don't solve for us the ability to generate a clear voice from there. That's why we recommend that when you send us data, it's all normalized and from the same setting if you can. As I mentioned, recording in one setting or the same setting. And you also, if you are using a third party, you do need to provide us with the video consent. And this is put in place to avoid any malicious use. So if you're using a voice actor who's going to be utilized, whose voice will be cloning, we do need a video from them saying, hey, I give so-and-so the consent to clone my voice by Resemble to be utilized for, and then insert use case. Again, put in place to make sure that there's no malicious use and you're only cloning the voice of the party that you have authorization for. Oh, and if you are interested in this tool, in this feature, we are offering a 40% off coupon code for the build or professional plan. It's a voice cloning webinar for joining us today. That's the coupon. I'll have a colleague paste it in the chat box. So if you're interested, that is available for anybody attending the webinar. So I'll quickly shift to the platform and again, give you a quick overview on the the uploading data tool on the website. So let me go ahead and navigate back there. So we'll get out of this page. We'll go back to build the voice. And this is where you will go ahead and upload the data. Again, most of you might not see this option because you do need to be upgraded to the Build Professional Plan or Enterprise Plan, but it is available, once you have upgraded to those respective plans. So let's go back here. Again, you type in the voice name. So I'll go ahead and type in again, Saqib. you'll upload the audio file. It's WAV format or other data formats. In this case, it could be segmented audio data. So for example, if you are working or if you already have data, which is, let's say you're a call center and you have clips recorded and you have those available, we could take individual files as well, and you could upload them directly here. So it doesn't have to be one long audio file. It could be separate files that are available, and we could just go ahead and upload those on the platform. And same process as when you're building or you're recording using the self-serve platform, you upload the data, and then you go ahead and upload the consent video that I mentioned. And once those two are done, you click on create voice, and then it starts the process. And same thing as before, once the voice is deployed and ready to use, you get notified saying that, hey, the voice is ready, go to the platform and start generating content. Now, this process does take a little bit longer because we do quality control on the video that you're uploading to make sure that the voice in there matches to the voice that you are uploading to clone, to make sure, again, to avoid any malicious use from that angle. And once the voices are cloned, you can go ahead to our editor, Nifty editor on create, and start generating content. We will be holding a webinar on how to generate content thoroughly and use all the different features that we have available. So I won't go into too much detail right now and overwhelm you guys, but we will have another webinar to go through most of the tools here and what this could be utilized for. So that is the process of cloning a voice and how to do it via the self-serve platform and the uploading feature. And foreign languages are also offered on the enterprise and the build plan. So if you are interested in doing or in any foreign languages, feel free to reach out to us, and we can definitely assist you and answer any questions that you might have on that. Again, just a quick slide on the audio format. WAV format works for us. And if you have segmented audio data, like individual audio clips, you can go ahead and send those to us, or you can upload a WAV format file directly onto the platform. And if you are a startup, you're interested in working with us, feel free to reach out to us, via email at team@Resemble AI, and we'd love to see what we can do together. So that's a quick overview on how to, what are the best practices when you're cloning your voice, making sure that you're able to, generate a high quality AI voice, especially if you're spending the time to sit there and record the sentences, or you're getting a voice actor to go into the studio and record content for you. Because trust us when we tell you, the biggest time suck, I guess you could say, is the getting the right data to clone to generate the high quality AI voice, and that's always what the issue we run into, and that's why we wanted to host the webinar. Yeah, so that's about it. Now I will take any questions that you guys might have. So let me go ahead and navigate to Q&A. I can go ahead and do that. Perfect. So the first question is in other languages. Yeah, so our model does do a good job of capturing your accent if you are speaking English with an accent. So if you wanted to try that, that would work out. It doesn't have to be that, it's not going to distort the voice if you have an accent. It will just generate that English voice with that accent that you recorded the samples with. And then the next question, and we will be offering, or we will be adding more languages down the road on the self-serve platform. So you'll be able to record, for example, French samples to create a French voice. So that is in the pipeline, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. Question about historical figures. That's a great question. In that case, we work with the state or the trust to help us provide the consent. So, we have done some projects with deceased celebrities or people who have passed away, whether they were artists or what have you. In that case, we work with the state or the trust that owns the rights to them to get consent to go ahead and with cloning the voices from that angle. So definitely something that we have obviously thought about. And yeah, if you have any of those use cases, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can guide you from there on what kind of consent or sign off we would need before we move forward with cloning the voice. Russian language available in the future? Yes, we are working on adding more and more languages. And we will be adding Russian down the road as well. Just keep an eye out, and we'll be notifying you via email once those voices are added. Yeah, feel free to shoot us an email at team@resemble.ai if you have any questions about any of the anything on the business side, and we'll definitely get in touch with you. Next question: how can I consume Resemble API with Node.js? I'll have my colleague Suhaim jump in on that to answer that question.
Sure, yeah. So I'll actually take that one and the one by Jason right after, which is also about implementing it within an application. We do have a REST API that works across all languages. We are also building and evaluating different SDKs in different languages particularly. So in the future, we'll be sending out a survey, and obviously JavaScript and Python and Ruby are on the top of that list anyways. But for now, you could use the REST API. There's documentation that we have on app.resemble.ai/docs. The documentation is also interactive. So without coding anything, you can kind of click around, make fake requests and see how it works. And then it's relatively easy to integrate within your application regardless of language.
Perfect. Thanks, Sahib. The next question is, does the room reverb factor into the accuracy as well? It does to some extent. So that's why we recommend, recording in a room where there might be less echo. Again, like I mentioned, it is tough to, get that studio quality room setup in your house or an apartment. But if you could record it, not to say that you should go sit in a closet, but that does help. And, I've done that for myself because obviously I don't have even though I'm sitting in a studio right now, made up studio, I don't have a studio, at home. So I've tried doing it in a closet where, again, it's the clothes are around me. So it does help reduce that echo. Or if you do have, a mic available, because some of the mics are the one that I use, that one does a good job of, making sure that the reverb and echo is eliminated. So again, there are ways to reduce that, but yes, that does factor into your voice as well, depending on how amplified and how loud the echo and reverb is. Thank you for that.
Just one add-on there. In some cases where you do have data where it has reverb built in, you can't remove it. We do offer audio engineering APIs where we can denoise and sometimes remove the reverb. This is very useful, again, when you have data that you've collected in the past where it's now impossible for you to get that person to record new things, etc. So we do have audio engineering capabilities in-house that we can help cleaning up data that you might have already collected.
Perfect. Thanks, Sahib. Any other questions? We'll give it a couple more minutes to see any other questions coming in. Are we planning on videos anytime soon? Not at the moment. I think the voice aspect is pretty challenging, and we're focused on that at the moment. But as the product and as the company progresses, we might be adding other features down the road. But I can't guarantee on when that might be, or if videos is going to be added anytime soon. Perfect. Yes. So regards to emotion, do we have a flexibility to modify based on the requirement? Yeah. So what we request our users to do is, for example, if you're going to be generating a script or content that's going to be more, let's say, story-based, we request our users to go ahead and record the data that we will use to clone the voice by reading, for example, Harry Potter or Sherlock Holmes, where your inflection, intonation would be, pretty similar to the content that you'll be looking to generate. And in other use cases, if you are, for example, a call center and you're looking to generate, obviously those prompts we'll have you read a script, which is more call center focused. So like, hey, hi, Eswin, how are you? My name is Saqib. Can I please speak with, or I'm calling from Verizon. How can I help you? Or, hey, may I please speak with John? And those are where, inflection intonation would remain the same as you're generating content. And also on the editor itself, you do have the ability to play around with the emotion tags, where you can go ahead as granular as on a syllable level. So it doesn't have to be the word itself, and you'll be able to change the inflection intonation. And again, as mentioned, we'll be hosting a webinar next week, I believe, to go through more detailed on the emotion tags, and to walk through, to give you guys a walkthrough on how to apply those so that you're able to generate the speech that you're looking for. Thank you for that. We'll just give it a few more minutes to see if anybody else has any other questions. Perfect. All right, I don't see any more questions coming in. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be posting this webinar online as well, so you will have access to it after the recording, and then be on the lookout for next week's webinar. And we'll be hosting these hopefully on a weekly basis to go through different features that we have to offer, and hope to see you guys again for the next ones. And again, as I mentioned, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot us an email at team@resemble.ai, and we'll take it from there. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.